Man, mental health, that's a motherfucker. You know, I deal with it firsthand on a day-to-day. You know, I deal with it firsthand. I've experienced firsthand. You know, y'all know the story. You know, last year, you know, y'all know who lied on me last year. Y'all know who put this bunch of lies of paperwork against me and lied on me and stopped me from seeing my daughter last year. You know, and into this year. Y'all already know that rundown. You know, but me personally, you know, I experienced the mental health side of it. You know, it was times where I wanted to take my own life, and the only thing that stopped me was my homies calling my phone, you know, in calls. You know, but I deal with it on a day-to-day. You know, we deal with people that got mental health problems, mental health, you know, it's crazy, like, you know, and that's something that needs to be really acknowledged even more, you know, because me out there dealing with the public, you know, yep, it's clear. Me out there dealing with the public, it's kind of like being a law-breaking cop. You don't know if you're going to return home at the end of your shift. You don't know if you're going to get cut up, get shot, whatever. When I go to work every night and I punch in, you know, all you can do is just say, I plan on going home the way I came. You know, that's all you can do. That's all you can say, right? Because you never know, because you don't know who you're going to run across. You know, like I said, we deal with them firsthand. And mental health is, everybody goes through something. You may have something that triggers somebody. You may have something, you know, somebody went through in life that caused them to have mental problems, right? You know, you never know what people going through in life. You never know what they dealing with. So it's kind of like you best avoid to try to leave them alone, you know. But sometimes they don't walk around with a sign that say, hey, I'm crazy. They just, whoop, I'm crazy. You know, and it's the sad part of the world. You see my blinkers on. So, and it's like, with that being said, it's like we can't really do nothing about it, but just hope people get better, hope the world get better, you know, especially me, by dealing with mental health issues firsthand, you know, from all the things I did in life, from, you know, like I said, the things I did in life, you know, the one thing from last year that's still a lingering effect, you know, that I was set up on. You know, it's the PTSD is always there. It's like all you can try to do is just cope with it and just learn how to manage it, as I say. Yeah, some people don't know how to manage that. Some people can't manage it. And that's the sad part. Because there's people out here that really needs help. I'm talking that really need help. And they can't really receive any help. You know, that's why it's like, I wouldn't hesitate giving that hotline that the job give us. I wouldn't hesitate calling that hotline in a minute. You know, because I done seen people stabbed on my train, then been going on my train, and seen somebody like on the other end of the line. Somebody got hit in the head, hit in the mouth with a pipe. You know, we got all these type of mentally ill people walking around with pipes. Somebody left 17 bricks on the train. We got people walking around like that. They got mental problems. And we're forced to see it, so it gives us PTSD. It makes us start having mental issues because we're seeing it firsthand as transit workers. You know, we're on the front lines out there. You know, we can stick our head out the window and bam, just get hit in the face. You never know. I know a couple co-workers that didn't happen to. You know, one woman, she stuck her face out in a 1011 just for no apparent reason. Wham! Knocked out to her teeth. You know, just because they mentally ill and they just, I guess, just went wacko. You know, it was another operator. He almost got into altercation with a 1011. You know, so mental health is real, man. You know, I'll catch y'all in the next video. As always, stay positive, stay blessed, stay away from games and crash outs. Like, comment, subscribe.